Hi guys, my name is Eliza Rich, and I would like to welcome you to the first ever Tuesday Travel Tips. I am currently a college student who is planning a round the world trip this coming year. As I dive into that whole entire experience, learn a little bit more about what it means to travel the world, whether that be packing tips, what's the best airline to fly with, uh, essentially how to keep it as inexpensive as possible, and everything else in between. I want to be able to share that with all of you. Today, I am going to share my first ever travel tips. Those would specifically be um, credit cards, loyalty programs, and then what you're likely also interested in is a little bit about why I want to travel abroad. So, what are we waiting for? Let's get started. Loyalty programs. I have done some traveling in the past. I've been to Australia, China, Ghana, and Canada, but I had never signed up for a loyalty program before. And I really wish I had known about loyalty programs before this because then I could have earned some miles. Loyalty programs are free to sign up for. You should look into really any airline or hotel that you have an interest in partnering with. If you typically go to United or you typically fly through Delta or um, I don't even know what hotels there are. I'm kind of blanking right now. But if there's ones that you specifically go to, make sure that you sign up for those loyalty programs. If you're broad and all over the place, sign up for as many as you want. What loyalty programs do is they provide you with a code. It is essentially like your own social security number of sorts that you enter into different things. So, say you went online and you wanted to purchase something, you could go through their website, enter your little code, and it would take you to Amazon, Walmart, Target, whatever online store that you want to use. And when you made that purchase, it wouldn't alter the price of your purchase, but it would you take a percentage of that and turn it into airline miles. So without doing anything different than you normally would, you're gaining miles for your daily purchases. They can also be used when you eat out. So every airline or hotel has different restaurants that they partner with. So whenever you would go to a restaurant of one of these partners and used a credit card that you had previously paired with your previously handed code, um, and you swiped, a certain amount of that would turn into airline miles. Again, put onto your loyalty program. And when you went ahead and purchased through their airline or hotel, you could then use those points to reduce the cost of your travels. Of course, there's other ways that you can do that too. If you aren't one who spends in those sorts of areas, or you do and want to amplify those airline miles, you can go to different credit cards. Below, I have inserted a link to one of my blogs. This blog talks about airline miles. Airline miles can get really confusing because they don't actually equate with the number of miles that you fly. And each airline uses different terms. Some say that if you get a credit card with us, you'll earn airline miles. Some say airline points. Some say dollars. And it gets a little confusing when you think about it. So in this link below, it takes you to different charts for the three primary airlines and explains to you how it really works. So say I went with American Airlines and I wanted to fly from Las Vegas to Mexico City. I would enter it into this chart and they would tell me, oh, you need 12,000 points to get there. So then I could go to these credit cards and say, well, which is the best one to get me the most amount of points? For picking a credit card, there are a couple different things you want to look at. One would be, do you already have an airline you fly through a lot? If you do, then probably picking a credit card with them would be the best. If you aren't, there are airline miles and etc. credit cards that you can purchase that allow you to fly multiple different airlines, to use multiple different hotels, and switch your points between them, which is a really nice and handy thing. Especially for me when I'm wanting to plan a trip around the world and I really don't know um, which airlines I will be traveling with, whatever keeps the cost down. So, with your credit card, there are a couple things to determine. What has the best sign-on bonus? That's probably one of the biggest things with credit cards. Many people use multiple credit cards to get as many sign-on bonuses as they can and get all of those miles. Next would be, where are your purchases currently? If you're traveling a lot, then ones that give you extra points for your travels would be good. But if you're more like me and you're saving for the bigger trip, then something that rewards your everyday purchases is a good thing as well. You also want to keep in mind annual expenses. Some give you annual fees for having that credit card, and if it's going to be taking away more money than you will be earning points wise or dollars wise, then it's probably best to avoid that credit card. However, if you plan to spend it all and then cancel it before it turns into an annual fee, if it gives you like the first year free or something like that, then maybe that's one to consider. One of the most highly recommended is the Chase Sapphire Preferred. For those of you who don't have a particular hotel or a particular airline that you're stuck with, it gives you the most flexibility and a really good sign-on bonus of $50,000 when, or 50,000 points when you spend $40,000 within the first few months. That all being said, going back to the loyalty program, you can now pair your credit card with that loyalty program. And now not only will you be earning extra points because you're using the credit card that gives you bonus points for eating out or other things, but then you will also be earning points because your loyalty program will give you points for dining at those specific restaurants. So those are some things that you can do without changing too much of your lifestyle, but then adding more airline miles to your future travels. Now, what you probably all are wondering is, why does this matter to me? I have traveled abroad a couple different times to China, Australia, Ghana, Canada, but all of those trips have been group trips, pre-planned. You know, I didn't have much say in them, but I certainly enjoyed them, that's for sure. So, this trip is something just kind of for me. I want to experience different cultures. I'm really into being part of developing countries. I just feel like we are a very materialistic culture, and learning to be more relational and not time bound, and just kind of giving up myself and growing in this experience is what I'm hoping to get away from it. I'm really looking forward to this experience, and I hope that you will subscribe or check out my website below for more advice and other pointers. And I will see you next week for the next Tuesday travel tips. Bye!